In this lesson, we're going to have some fun with some impossible objects. If you'd like to follow along, go to your File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll down to 0410 Impossible Objects, and just click Open. Okay, let's create some impossible objects. First, can you make any shape object into a text frame? Absolutely. All you need to do is select your text tool, your type tool, and just click on that object that you want to make into a text frame. And you can see I already have a blinking cursor, and if I go under my type menu, I can go down to fill with placeholder text, and yes, it is a text frame. I wonder if it's possible to create a text frame that has a hole through the center of it. Let's see. I have a couple of text frames here. Let me just select them by clicking and dragging across them with my selection tool. And you can see they are text frames. They have an import and an output. How can I make my hole? Well, this is my top object. If I make it into a compound path, it's going to make a hole right through my text frame. I'm going to go to Object, Paths, Make Compound Path. Once again, you can see it is a text frame. It does have a hole through it. Let me show you. I'm going to double click with my selection tool on this object to get an insert point. So it still is a text frame. Watch what happens when I go under my type menu to fill with placeholder text. It is adding text to this object with a hole in the center. I wonder if it's possible to rotate a text frame without rotating the text itself. Let's go to our Direct Selection tool. And with your Direct Selection tool, click on one of those corners to select just that corner. Now, hold down your Shift key and click on the remaining corners. With all of your corners selected, make sure that the center reference point is selected in your control panel. And now, rotate just the frame that you selected 45 degrees and hit Enter or Return. And you can see that just the frame rotated. The text remained parallel to the bottom of the page. The next thing is I wonder what would happen if I selected one side of a text frame and just deleted it. Make sure you're in your Direct Selection tool and go over the top of the right side of this text frame at the bottom of the page. When you see next to your Direct Selection tool to its lower right, what looks like a line segment, click to select just that one segment. Now, press your Delete key, and you have an open path text frame. So you can delete one side of a text frame, and your text will not fall out. It's still contained within this open path frame. I'm going to scroll down to the next page. And you can see I have a couple of frames with images from photospin.com. I wonder if I can do the same thing with a graphic frame and actually delete just one side. I'm going to go over the top of the left side of this image, and when I see that little segment to the lower right of my Direct Selection tool, if I click, I'm selecting just the one side. And if I hit my Delete key, you can see that the picture is still contained within that open space. As a matter of fact, if I click off of the frame and then go over the top of another point and click again to select just that one point, when I hit Delete, there's still an image within that frame. Let me go to my pen tool and redraw my rectangle and go over the top of that lower right point and just click. And now I can continue my path. And you can see I'm back to that frame that has one open side. And if I go all the way around to the beginning, I can close the path and I'm back to where I started. I wonder what would happen if I cut a graphic frame in half. Well, how can I do that? I can use my scissors tool. If you hit your C key, you'll go right to your scissors. And I'm going to go over the top of the other image on one of the sides and just click. So I now have an open frame. Let me click again with my scissors tool on the opposite side of the frame. And if I go to my selection tool and just click and drag, you can see that now each one of those open paths has an image in it. Really kind of cool. We're going to continue to discuss objects and paths in the next lesson.